playing this. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Hey, Link. Hey, sound check. Can you hear us good? Can you guys hear us just fine?
Yeah, can y'all hear us? Want to make sure everybody can hear us well.
Want to be starting something, you got to be starting something. So you want to be starting something, got to be starting something. Tired to get over, yeah. Too low to get under, yeah. You stuck in the middle, yeah. And the pain is thunder, yeah. You're a vegetable, vegetable. All right, I need a drink. Hold
Everyone
on.
Can hear us. Oh my God, it's Mike Beckett. Hey, Mike.
Oh, she leaks. Move the channel.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she leaks a little bit. But listen, I only paid $1 for her, so she's cute.
She's good. You know that's the seal part. Like hold it and then
maybe that's why whoever took it to the Salvation Army was like, oh, I'm over it. So all right, we'll just clean up the table later.
It's not that bad.
Look, it was only $1, so there we go.
It's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad. We've all made more messes on more tables than what this is. Right. So I know I have.
Don't let good liquor go to waste.
Yeah, I know. So, but is that a BLM logo or a fisting T-shirt? Well,
it's both. I am a person who typically wears things for a purpose. So, in light of everything that's going on in the world tonight, of course, then everybody want to fucking chit chat.
Yeah, not right now. We live. Oh, right. I see Maverick. Hey, Maverick, how you doing?
Right. Let me drag this girl.
I see Aaron. Tables, chairs, bed curtains. I mean, come on. Like, listen. You are now viewing us from. We're in studio. This is Studio A.
This is Studio A.
We're in Studio A. Yeah, yes. We're in Studio A. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we do in Studio A. We just have it set up like that. So I mean, it just is what it is. Studio B and Studio C. We haven't gone over to Studio D yet, but we've gone to Studio B and C. Right. But we starting off. We just start off in a different note. So how was everyone's New Year and holiday and stuff? Y'all all have a good time? Y'all all have fun?
I had a wonderful time. What did you do?
Listen, this year was just very, very laid back.
Okay, Jack said he couldn't hear us on YouTube. Volume was all the way up, but now it's fixed. All right, so good. So that means everyone can hear us. Okay. Now I just need to turn off because, of course, everybody will want to chit chat while we're trying to do the show. So I need to turn off.
Thank you, Jack. How are you? I miss you. Love you. When's the last time I saw you? Was it 2019? Like, when was it? I don't know what.
Right. I knew someone named Jack once upon a time.
Yeah, I knew there was someone I knew. I think he was.
Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow.
I don't really know. Right. To go play from Dominion, please. It really be TV.
To go play the cocktail.
And you second.
Taste it. What do you think?
You second, third, or fourth in line. I'm gonna get to it. Let me
Tell me what happened.
So it was very laid back. I mean, I spent it with some extended family, and it was like a whole bunch of us that kind of got together, just the five of us, and we were all like sitting around, had a good time. And I really appreciate, and I said this on Facebook, so I really, 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 really appreciate Carrington Manor. If you all don't have a Carrington Manor in your life, then get you a Carrington Manor. So I really appreciate it. They made it visually stimulating and pleasing, and feelings and all that good stuff. So it was good. I even got a little emotional, just because it was, you're in a good space. New Year's, I did the same thing. I wound up going back over there for a hot second. Yeah. And it was good. So, I mean, mine was good. How was yours?
It was much more low key because, even though we're all friends, we have like our own close little group. And with all of this shit going around, like my little group that I usually hang out with includes people who are in like remission from cancer. And like his doctor was like, I will fuck you up if you leave this house for Christmas and New Year's. So
do I know this person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So he was just like, so we'll stay home. And I was like, all right, it's fine. I was definitely bummed because
you said the lighting is fabulous. Oh my God.
Thank you. I know I saw that. Thank you. It does cast a certain glow on us. What it is, it's at 3,500K.
Okay.
And 50% power. So I
So
felt
what
like
you're saying is it's a bastard amber.
it is a bastard
It's
amber.
a bastard amber.
It is a
Okay.
bastard amber.
Okay, I just
It
wanna make
gives us
sure.
just the right
I just want
amount
to make
of
sure.
glow. Oh, it's Venture Mac. Did you see how Venture was looking all sexy with that beard and everything?
I did.
He
I had to
is
go back.
the
Wait,
sexiest
I had to go
motherfucker.
back. I said,
I was right. I
what?
was like, okay, cute. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me scroll back a little bit. I was like, okay.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold up.
The beard has come in all cutely.
Hold up, Links. High school senior photo you found of me online? Yeah, you might want to inbox that to me because we gotta talk about that one. Let me be clear. It was a cute picture. Let me be clear. But no, I know you.
And right, Legionnaire, it all comes back to Jackie.
I mean, come on.
Everything comes back to Jackie.
It all, like always.
Right. And Parker said, yes. We all love it. Yes, we do, Venture. Yeah. Bravo, bitch. Bravo. But yeah, what I realized is that, I had my first New Year's Eve party in 2005. It was 2004. It was when I moved into my spot over on Pennsylvania Avenue. It was right across from Glory Hole,
Easy access.
It's very easy access. But, my mother had died like so that was 2004. So she had died 5 years ago. She died on December 30th, 1999.
Okay.
It was my first trip to New York City. So she didn't die in New York City.
No.
And so the holidays have always been like a weird time for me because, my mother died even before that, like other uncles and other people sort of died around the holidays. So I like having people around for the holidays. I generally don't like to be alone for the holidays.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's necessarily seasonal affective disorder. I mean, I wasn't trying to kill myself or nothing like that, but I deal with it by having people around. So that's why I have the parties for Christmas and for New Year's to sort of, I can wrap myself up in the planning for that. And I get just enough people because, as soon as the party is over, I'm
right. You're like, all right,
okay,
everybody get out. Bye. But I will say,
it's 3:00 in the morning, time for you bitches to go.
I mean, but if you've ever been to, if you are in that circle where you've been to a Dominion function, especially on New Year's Eve, it's a very small group of people, and it's very like everyone there has a connection in some way, shape, or form. And it's a very caring moment. It's a very loving moment. It's very raw. Just feelings and stuff, but you're sharing amongst family, and so that's what it feels like. So it's very
intimate.
It's very intimate. So
I didn't really do anything, and my sister was like, "We're gonna do a champagne toast." I was like,
"That's right, y'all. Hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate y'all."
That's right, exactly. Please hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon
so you'll
be notified when we come with new content. Which we are slowly getting this together.
We're trying to
By the way. How does everyone feel about our new logo?
So listen, wait a minute. And here's what I'm doing also. This is old school. One of our friends, one of our viewers, I have to send him a message to make sure that he knows that we're online. I'm not going to say any names, but I mean, he's a number. He's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He's not 8, 9, and 10. But what number I didn't say?
Right.
That's
so
where
if you hit the subscribe, because you already have to subscribe in order to comment.
Yes.
And if you hit the bell icon, then you'll be notified when we go live. And eventually we're going to start having new non-live content on the site again. Also, thank you to everyone who signed up in the last couple of days. Girl, we know who Crimson Diamond is. We know who you are. Okay, girl. He act like we ain't supposed to know who he is. Like she's undercover today.
You know what?
Listen, she got her head. She got her head there.
Listen, and it's beautiful.
This shit is so tight it pulls her brain back.
Bitch, wait, I'm not even gonna lie. Bitch, I gave you that. I'm 15 face. Bitch, it looks good though. Let me be
clear. I am
Reggie. It looks good though. Let me be clear. It looks absolutely good. And I said that to him. It looks absolutely good. Yeah. Oh, it looks really good. Yeah.
So please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you'll get notified of new content. Hey, Tyra.
Oh my God. So wait, stop. Tyra, I will say this right now on air live. You scared the shit out of me with the pictures that you were posting and the shit that you were saying. Because I was like, I know good and goddamn well Tyra is not having her ass down here at this motherfucking Capitol.
I didn't read it like that.
I did because her pictures were like, they weren't like of the television. They weren't like, I was like, is she, what the? I was like, what the?
About to whoop her ass.
So listen, I appreciate you for responding back to me so quickly. I definitely appreciate that because I was gonna get on this phone and be like, what was her last address? I need to know where because I need to go ahead and follow her the fuck down. Because this is just not gonna work for me.
Right.
But we was all good. So thank you for responding back to me. I'm just saying.
So yeah, hit the subscribe button and do all of that. We want to send a shout out to our friend Sydney. I can't remember her name right on top of my head, but I posted her Instagram name on the
it is
like underscore.
I'll tell you exactly
Sydney something blah blah blah. She is actually the daughter of one of my fraternity brothers. He's a Q, but remember I told you I'm in this architecture fraternity, went to architecture school, so we both went to FAMU, and I saw his daughter doing these caricatures, and she was like, send me a picture and I'll do it. And the price was very inexpensive. That only cost us $100. I feel like that was quality artwork.
Listen,
it's once we do another
and compare.
I got a cute place for us to do photographs. Have you ever heard of Fort Armistead Park in Baltimore? It's a place where the kids go to carry on. I found it on Twitter, on Freak Twitter.
That's why it sounds.
And it's got like all of this graffiti all over the place and everything. So I'm gonna be posting pictures later of the slave and I did a photo shoot there.
Okay.
But it would be a cute place for us to do a photograph.
But now compared to the other thing we were shopping around doing on Fiverr. So let me give a shout out to Fiverr. So we were able to get our logo done.
Epic is a Kappa. I'm not a Kappa. Happy anniversary. What was it, 114 years?
1911 is 16.
Oh, girl, math.
Child, 19. Sorry.
Oh, well, if it was,
where are we at? We're 21.
So that's 110 years. If you said 1911?
Yeah, 1911.
Yeah, so this will be 110 years.
110 years. Shout whatever. Listen, thank you. Happy Founders Day to all the brothers. Shit, after a while, you know how shit just kind of when you're in a marriage, and after a while you're like, what anniversary?
Oh, girl, we've been together for a long
in fact, time. Yeah, I was saying, in fact, it'll be in March 30th. It'll be my 30th. It'll be 30 years since I actually pledged. Oh my God, I'm just and it's amazing to me because I still remember every single thing that happened to me that evening, the feelings, the smells, like everything about that evening. I still remember, and so it just seemed like it was just yesterday. So, but in any event. But yeah, so we went on to Fiverr. Fiverr is an amazing website. I don't know if everybody else has ever
Fiverr does.
They do a great job. But
they did the little logo.
The logo. But the first motherfucker that did the picture
that was some old bullshit. I was like, girl, I could do that.
And he got janky with it. He was like, I charge for one image. I was like, it is one image. He was like, no, there are two people in this. I said,
but you ain't even really doing anything. Let me explain to you what he did. So,
bitch,
what we did was give him that same.
But wait a minute. So I paid him twice.
You paid him?
I had to,
but it was $5.
Go ahead. So this is why it's ours. We own that bitch. We will be using that bitch.
Yeah, we better if you pay for it.
Yeah, fucking real pay for that shit.
I didn't realize you had paid.
But that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, go ahead.
But basically, he took a photo that we sent him
and
then put some rainbow like things on the outside. It was like, rainbows on the side of my face. It was literally just that. And so I was like, no, this is not the vision.
And it looked nothing like us.
No.
Nothing. And you're literally doing a drawing, like not even drawing a drawing, but like drawing that caricature, if you will, outline of our picture. So how could it not look like us?
Right. But what Sydney did,
she did an amazing job.
She took the actual image.
I was trying to find her damn actual name.
Yeah, because we got the.
I'll give her. You do that. I'll because I have her stuff in here.
Okay, but we gave her the same picture that we had used before, which is a picture from Code Red a couple of years ago,
which is still one of my favorite pictures.
Right, and she did what I wanted her to do was to turn it into like a caricature or something that it's called turning it into a vector, because you can put a vector more easily on like a t-shirt. Because girl, we got some whole bunch of shit. Yeah, we stepping our pussies way up with this bullshit. So we about to make it happen. So, shout out to her. It's Sydney Stewart online or something like that.
Damn it. I know I have her shit in here in the mail, but I'm sorry. I'm trying to find her, but I'll send it.
Right. She's, listen.
Her name is...
where is she? She's on Instagram. So, hold on.
There we go.
this is super important for us to say because, you know,
she did a wonderful job. And thank you so much, Sydney.
Right. All right, here we go. New logo, who this? Underscore her screen name is Sydney Online _ on Twitter.
Yes.
SYDNEYONLINE _ on Instagram. So check her out. You know,
she's
she
amazing.
charges a decent. I mean, there's only if it had just been one of us, it'd only been $50. So we only paid $100 to get that logo, and you just give her a cute picture. Yeah. And for that price, she also gives you an animated version of which it wasn't that I didn't care for it. It's that it has less. Right. It was completely fine. It looks good, but it has less utility for what I was looking for. But now that we noticed,
it was a cute blink, though. It's a cute blink.
It's a cute blink. But now that we noticed she could do that, we could do some images specifically with that in mind, where she could do something cute with that. But anyway, so there we go. So we're at New Year's and everything.
Sydney.
And so while we were there, right at Fort Armistead, you know. So I'm taking.
Wait, stop. Can we just go back? I want everybody from the motherfucking BGKH Hive. Did y'all bitches see Dominion's motherfucking Merry Christmas picture? Pimps up, hoes motherfucking down. Yes, God.
You know, listen. I had, you know,
God.
This is actually part of the thing because I had initially wanted to do because I was going to call you and ask you to come and do like a photo shoot with like me and him, but I really was not in the mood.
Well, I mean,
and so I was like, girl, that was a picture we took last year,
but it's still it's a hot picture.
I used another thing and added some snowflakes on top of it. And I was like, okay, girl, it's good enough to use again.
It's hot, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were talking about something else.
No, you're fine. So when we went to do this photo shoot, because you know I want to do new and interesting stuff, so we drove all the way up to it's right outside of Baltimore. It's right by the water, the little park. So while we were there, you know. This white guy kept cruising us and he wasn't cute enough to get it. And then this older black guy kept cruising us and he wasn't going to get it. But as we were driving, because, you know, my radar for these sorts of things is out. So we're driving and then as we're leaving, I see a bunch of cars off to one side. And I was like, my rate is, it needs to be stronger.
No.
I got you some more.
No. It's
just it's got the right, you know. I'm a good bartender. I know how to throw a beverage.
It's an adult beverage. Let me be clear. It's an adult. It's like a lot of adult in this beverage.
It could be a little less sweet though.
That's what I don't know what it is. And maybe because I just brushed my teeth too. The toothpaste.
What it is
toothpaste,
pineapple vodka, triple sec, orange juice, and cranberry juice.
Sugar.
Right.
Okay.
So we drove around to where the car was, and the old black guy was there, fucking some old white guy. Like this guy was like 80 years old. So I was like, listen, God bless his ministry, because I hope I'm still fucking around when I'm 80 years old. If your hole is still
open and winking at people at 80, baby, you've hydrated. You've moisturized, you've taken care of, baby. I ain't mad at you.
Right. So I wasn't mad at him at all. But
fiber intake.
So we paused and we were going to stay there for a minute. But I was like, girl, so it's woods, right? And the cars are parked up against the woods. And the way the cars were parked, like one dude had his car parked here, and then another dude that pulls up like this. So when they opened their doors,
you couldn't see.
It created like a little. I mean, you was clear what was going on.
Right.
But I was just like, girl, I got too much to lose to be going to jail. Because I mean, this just seemed like the perfect, because there was nowhere for you to go. Because if you drove because if the police came in one end, there was nowhere for you to go because it was a muddy field and a dead end and the woods. So there was no way that you could run and get away from them or hop in your car and go or whatever. Sure. So I was just like, and it's COVID too. I was like, girl, I don't not even work. I mean, I was with the slave, so I was like, we could fuck out. He could be cute,
right. But the random folks that you're hooking up with during COVID, I don't understand.
No, it wasn't Druid Hill Park. This is called Fort Armistead. Druid Hill is in the city. Fort Armistead is before the bridge, so it's before you get into downtown Baltimore proper.
It's a little more secluded. Not that I know anything about that, but
it was cute. It was a cute little experience, but yeah. So anyway, we're talking fast because we got a lot of shit.
Yeah, we have a lot of shit to talk about.
I've even got an extra battery here, so you know, if we feel like we want to go.
Yeah, so do we want to run through everything else real quick, like just to point on, like just blip, and then get to the real shit because. Okay,
all right. The only shit that I don't care about none of that other shit. I don't care about Dr. Dre. I don't care. Dr. Dre
had an aneurysm.
Dr. Dre is a rapist, so I don't give a fuck. So listen, he beat the shit out of Miss Chalet.
So yes,
you know,
yes,
and I listened to Miss Chalet. Miss Chalet's voice was amazing.
It still is.
It is. And imagine if she had been with someone who wasn't an abusive asshole and wasn't trying to bring her down for her
she would have had
she could have had an amazing career. Because Something in My Heart is still one of the best songs ever. And her voice, her voice sounded terrible. Let's just be clear.
No. Her voice was actually...
I'm talking about her speaking voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like...
Her speaking voice is terrible, but the way that she talked was annoying. But I feel like people would have gotten over that because her voice was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's her voice.
If she hadn't been with Dr. Dre,
and she's still locked into whatever that contract was, like the contract has not dissolved.
Right.
She's
and D Barnes too. He beat the shit out of D Barnes. Remember, she used to be on she was the black girl with the African head wrap that was on. It wasn't on BET, but it was one of those black shows.
I don't know.
It was like a video show. You'll know as soon as
send me a picture because I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, so fuck him. What else was on the list?
Dr. Dre was in the hospital. Eric Jerome Dickey died.
Yes, now that is important. You know, Eric Jerome Dickey. Yeah, he was very young.
A lot older. I don't know why. But yeah, he died. And they said it was for undetermined.
Venture says, I speak with my larynx. Oh, for real? You'll throw like that? Because listen, you know from the moment I met you,
that is a different conversation on a later show.
We do need to do like a Friday edition of like so BGKH
that is something else that's actually in the works for us, as well as we have some things that we want y'all to act out. We have a lot of shit that we're trying to get. Let's get through this shit.
All right. So Eric Jerome Dickey, bless his soul. You know, he did a lot. He really was him, and I put him in sort of the same category as him and. Not Tyler Perry, but what's the black gay dude?
You're talking about yes, Just As I Am.
That guy.
Elin
Harris, who, sort of in the 90s, sort of was like, different experiences, but it was the same sort of thing. It was the first of our era who sort of put black life out there. For us, it was black gay life. For Eric Jerome Dickey, it was heterosexual life. But, so God rest his soul. So, Bridgerton.
So okay, let me just be clear. Bridgerton, I'm here to support Shondaland, all the stuff she does, but I am not a period piece person.
Please pause. Yes, Venture, we know you were talking in reference to Miss Chalet, but we was talking about it in reference to something else.
He was mentioning something else. Listen, I will be there just to make sure that I get everything on film. Let me be clear.
Listen, Venture no. I mean, remember we was on the cruise?
That's all
I wasn't trying to hit on him on the cruise, but Venture is he's like a sneaky, sly little.
And he's a cutie. He's a cutie patootie. And listen, he's part of Mac Pack, and they're all cutie patooties. So,
right.
I mean,
listen, we could have a big old.
We can start at the top and work our way down. I can't speak with nobody else. I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. The Queen Bee Scepter is like, I'll take care of him. Oh, she shut us down, huh?
You getting a little,
right? He done got out of the Navy.
You are retired and shit.
Right, he got out of the military. He done grew his beard in and changed his hair color.
Shit. You done got yourself a little job.
Right, and got
up ladders and
got all butch trading.
I mean, what's up with that?
Like, no, I got this.
Like, what? Did you just flex? What?
He really did. Flex.
So many sneaky pics by Venture.
I know Venture. Venture would text me. He was like, I took this picture of you. I was like, did you have like a telephoto lens or something?
You did not say you hold an extension cord. I'm tired.
But before we get to Bridgerton, girl, the Black Bachelor. Have you seen the picture with his best friend?
His best friend, Tyler Cameron J. So here's the thing. He's the first Black Bachelor in the show's 18 season history.
5,000-year history. I mean,
but the problem is
one of those that have multiple seasons per year. So it ain't been on but for like 12 years, but they're on like season 25 or some shit like that.
So, but here's the thing. Every time you see pictures on Instagram, it's his name is Matt. His name is Matt Barnes. Is that his name?
Something like that.
His name is
Matt and Tyler Cameron is the white guy who was his roommate.
Yeah. So Matthew.
Matthew, black guy. Yes, him.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Anyway,
now he's a grown. Now these are not college kids.
No, they're not.
These are grown ass,
he's
wealthy
a 29-year-old
First of all,
real estate broker.
Yeah, right. These kids are like some kids who are like, you know,
his name is Matt James.
They are not living together to share. Both of them are very successful men in their own rights.
Yeah.
Now listen, I don't want to be one of those gay dudes or one of those people, period, who buys into the toxic masculine ideals that straight men can't have friendships and that friendship can't have a degree of intimacy. And I don't even mean sexual intimacy, that they can't just hang out. But girl, some of the pictures that they have together are
baby, I am as gay as they come.
Like honey. They have pictures of them.
They're just like they're sleeping on each other. They're laying around. I was like,
right, one with their legs crossed together. I'm just like,
it's one of those things where it's like,
seems
really, Matt? Really, Tyler? And then Tyler's the one that seems to be putting the pictures out. So I don't know if it's necessarily Matt or if it's Tyler, because these are all showing up on Tyler's Instagram
right,
page.
He's 29, but he's giving me all of the typical gay vibes, and not because he looks gay, because you know, he's an attractive, but he doesn't have gay face though.
We were just talking about gay face the other day,
but I don't want to be like, you know, how some gays, any attractive person, they automatically assume
like, he's gay.
Like no one's assuming Flavor Flav is gay. You know what I mean? No one listens.
I don't think the heteros are really trying to claim him either.
I mean, they had the flavor of love, but
they were trying to get his money.
I don't want to assume that just because two attractive people are friends that they're necessarily fucking. But just the nature of some of the photos that they have taken together are giving me.
They're just a lot.
It's giving me.
It's a lot.
And it just seems so like if y'all are good friends, right? Get an apartment or had apartments in the same building or whatever. But these two men roommates. Who are very well, they're like Kelly Loeffler rich, you know, but they're definitely in the they are definitely in at least the top 15% of wage earners in this.
Yes, his pecs are quite nice.
He's very attractive. They're both very attractive. They make a lovely couple.
Yeah, they make a lovely couple, and that's exactly what I was saying, because that they were having mandates. But then again, you know what? I used to work with this guy when I worked at a furniture store in Virginia. Mm-hmm. He was very straight. He knew I was very gay, but we would have our things called mandates. We would go to movies or whatever. And I mean, we were just
were y'all just sitting there?
Oh, absolutely not.
Did you rest your head on his chest?
Absolutely not. But we talked about everything. Right. But we weren't like mandates.
So on one hand, I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. But it's just the way that they're giving. It's just giving.
It's giving a lot. And I
want you all. You know, I'm 29 years old. I've never been. You know, he gives that whole. He's giving on national TV the same speech that your gay ass gives when you go home for Thanksgiving, and they're like, you know, why you ain't had a girlfriend? I've never been in love.
Like,
or I've never met the right one yet. You know, it's always giving that. So he's giving gay guy going home for Thanksgiving, but on national TV.
Check out his Instagram. You make your own assumptions, but I'm just, in my mind.
Tyler says, I still lick his face. I mean,
I wouldn't
kick him out of bed. I mean, he's an attractive man. The white guy is attractive too. They're both very attractive. They make a cute couple. You know, I can imagine
somebody's going to be putting something somewhere.
Both of them pounding one another out. And let's note that Tyler...
So it's Matt James and Tyler Cameron.
Tyler Cameron, none of the pictures of it on Instagram are with him of a woman either.
So again, like I said, they're all Tyler's pictures, but we'll see. Y'all go check them out.
And in an age when, listen, it's just still so funny to me. Me, you, and Tyra, and a few other people grew up in an age where constantly taking pictures of yourself were symptoms of a mental illness. But, you know, okay, girl, now everyone does it. So it just seems unusual to me that a person who is heterosexual, who photographs all other pictures, you know, just like he's very photogenic, has all tons of pictures on his life, but he's never in any pictures with any women. I mean, I'm not in any pictures with any women either, but I mean, I have more pictures on my Instagram of women than he does.
That says a lot.
Right.
Because I mean, I'm just saying that just says
right. All right, so another good thing, which I thought was going to be what the fuck we was going to talk about today.
Well, yeah.
Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff won their Ossoff. Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, have you seen? Because like I'm on the TikToks. John Ossoff has a swagger about him that I find very sexy.
I get nerdy white husband.
That's what I get from him, and I love a nerdy. I love a skinny white nerd.
But there's something about being in that like that 40-something, like I'm ready to settle down husband type nerdy part that kind of works for me, which is kind of like Matt.
You know, he gives me young The Fly.
The actor?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Jeff Goldblum?
Yes, he gives me young Jeff Goldblum.
And Jeff Goldblum, listen,
is sexy
Jeff
as hell.
Goldblum is a sexy, even as he's getting like listen, I'm good.
Whenever I watch Independence Day, I was like, oh, look at all that chest hair that's just peeking out of his.
There's something about him. So I mean, he gives me that. But even like I said, even Matt James gives me like nerdy, like he's morphing into like nerdy husband type man, but as the black
but
version.
Tyler James is. Oh, you talking about
Matt James,
the black guy, the black guy.
Matt James.
But yeah, so John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock won.
I want to say Warnock. He's something so bad. I don't know why I want to say that.
Too. They both won their runoffs. So we now have a 50-50 split.
A big black man passed up and a cool Jewish guy shut down the Georgia.
That is true.
This is absolutely true. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget about that beautiful black woman, Stacey Abrams. And this is the whole thing about people always trying to take away black women's shine. Some bitch on Twitter was like, we have to really thank Trump. And just hear me out. We have to thank Trump for making this 2000. Oh, she said the $2,000 payment was with the wedge issue that really won the election in Georgia. Oh, and people like Stacey Abrams helped too. I was like, no, bitch. Stacey Abrams is building what is currently a Georgia. Well, she's building a national movement centered in Georgia. Absolutely.
But over the next 2 years, that movement is going to become national.
Yes, it is.
People are going to. First of all, she's going to get paid. By all of these people wanting her to come in and teach them how to do what she did in Georgia in places like Texas and Arizona and Michigan. Although Michigan does have a Democratic governor, but most of the electorate is not.
But I want to see what's going to happen with her and Biden's cabinet, because I feel like there's still a position.
I think she needs to stay where she is because she's much better in this thing, and I think that she needs to be governor because I legit could see. I mean, Stacey Abrams is 35 years old. I could see Governor Abrams. I could see I could see Senator Abrams. Bitch, I mean, the sky is the limit now. I could see a fucking President Abrams.
That's what I see for her in the long term. But that's my own. That's
because you can't even be president until you're 40. I mean, there is an age requirement on president.
I'm just saying that's what I see for
35. Her. It's either 35 or 40.
I don't know what.
But anyway, so they won both of their runoffs, which means now the chamber is split 50-50. But given that Kamala Harris, who is the president of the Senate, the vice president is the president of the Senate. She's a tiebreaker, which means that the Democrats now have a majority
in the Senate as well as in the House,
and
the Democratic sitting president.
And let's just be clear. Everything that happens today, which we are going to get into, is setting it up for if the Democrats don't fuck it up.
See, and that's my concern. Like
that little slim majority. Oh my God, that little slim majority that they have in the House and the Senate could turn into a huge majority. It's because these hoes aren't just going to give up all of this bullshit.
That is
so they're going to keep this going on the next congressional cycle. So 2 years from now, a lot of these people who voted for this bullshit are not only going to be out, and it's going to make space for all of these black and Latinos and women and gays and Native Americans to get in. And I'm going to talk about what happened, what I think should happen next afterwards. So that was great. Trump implosion. We'll get to all of that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well.
Is there anything else we? Oh, Bridgerton.
So let's go back to Bridgerton. Let's go back to
Wonder Woman.
Like, right.
All right. So
listen,
I was so I was like,
Christmas Day.
I woke
Picture
up,
it.
right. I was like Wonder Woman. I can watch this motherfucking Wonder Woman movie here in my house. I was like, let me get my cocktail, get my popcorn.
And wait a minute, I even had to have because I was with friends. I even had to have this moment where I was like, listen,
y'all,
we are watching this movie. Don't you say one word.
Right.
Don't you say shit.
Don't
comment.
Don't be on your phone. Don't be saying nothing stupid.
Be present. Don't talk. Don't say shit.
Right. I was here in the studio and I was just like, girl, I'm 65 inches. We're going to watch it. And, I was like, let me crank the bass up on the sound bar.
Have my blanket together. Chair
so I was ready to go.
Hit the play on the button. And I was like, yeah.
And then like an hour into the movie, I was like, girl, we ain't even got to the point
I ain't
yet.
seen her. She ain't changed up yet. Like,
so after that first little scene in the mall.
Spoiler alert. Freaky McNasty. Let me just tell you right now.
Yeah, you should be like la 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 la. Yeah, because we about
to out right now.
Yeah, we about to talk to
5 or 7
when we give you the high sign, that means you come back in.
Turn the volume down.
Just mute
turn
it
the volume
for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So like for the first hour, I was like, girl, this is a whole bunch of setup and blah blah blah. And it wasn't that the setup wasn't necessary, but it did not need to take an hour.
It took so long. And so then when you got everything together and the first time you saw her change, I was like, bitch, did she just change? Or did she just like pick up her dry cleaner and put it on her arm? I was like, bitch, what?
Right. So let's talk about all of the things that didn't make sense to me. First of all, here's one of the biggest things. So she, it depending on, nowadays we might call that rape. Because she had sex with that man without his consent. Because she was I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to call it that. I'm being facetious for the point of the show. But what I will say is that to the rest of the world, that was just that dude. He only appeared as Steve Trevor to her. That dude had a family. He had a job. We don't know if he had a wife or kids or a girlfriend or somebody else.
That is true.
She fucked a total stranger. And then that didn't even go anywhere because if it at least at the end was he ran into him again, if she had been like, oh, hey, I know what your penis looks like. And I had a good time with your penis. So, let's hang out or whatever. She didn't even acknowledge that she knew him. Or she could have, you couldn't be like, yeah, I wouldn't fuck the dude in your body. But she could at least been like, hey, let's go have a drink.
I wouldn't have picked up on that. I wouldn't have actually mentioned that, but I'm thankful that you are mentioning that.
Oh, yeah, girl, because I picked up a lot.
It's good to know.
I picked up a lot. All right, so I'll pick up one plot hole. You come up with another. What's yours?
Well,
next one.
So my biggest plot hole, and it really wasn't a plot hole. It kind of was. So there are 4 different versions of Cheetah. Number 1. That was one of my biggest plot holes because I was like, first of all, I was like, that's not who the fuck that's not like. All right, it's
8:40. We're gonna continue this discussion to 8:45, and then we got 5 minutes on Bridgerton, and then the rest
is gonna be our rest. Mm-hmm. So I just couldn't figure that. That was a plot twist for me, and also I didn't particularly care for the CGI animation stuff, and it was too much.
Shit at the end.
It was too much.
When you do it in darkness,
and I couldn't see it.
That's
you couldn't
because
see it.
you don't.
It was
want everybody to see. There was no reason why it was because it wasn't established that whole shit took place at night.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was like, that wasn't really a plot twist for me, but that wasn't a plot twist for me, but that was something that bothered me about the movie. It bothered me. Another thing that bothered? Wait, let me back up. Are we still doing plot twists? Or are we doing what bothered?
Whatever.
Another thing what bothered me.
Come on,
Asteria.
Unnecessary.
I absolutely appreciate the fact that you have put Linda in this legendary movie. You owed her that much. At a bare minimum, you owed her that much.
Right.
So when she showed up, when they first showed her, I said, I was thinking to myself, I know she's going to be in this movie. I'd heard them talk about it. They just never said what they were going to do. But when they showed that I said that baby blue represents Linda Carter.
Right.
And I let that go. But when she showed up at the motherfucking end credits or after the credits with that little scene,
it was like that scene served no purpose.
Because they could have been put in somewhere else. She could have been scripted. They could have made a funny out of it. They could have made a joke out of it.
If they had shown that it was her,
Yeah.
And in the armor.
Then I would have been okay with that.
So now we're on that armor. That armor was unnecessary because by the time she put the armor on, she already had her powers back. So there was no reason for her to wear the armor. So if she was going to somehow come into possession of the armor, it should have been like, oh, there could have been a scene somewhere in the middle where she sought out Asteria and Asteria said, I'm giving you this armor. Like,
that is correct.
Because
but she's also a historian, anthropologist, cultural, whatever.
Right.
So she has shit. So
if you were going to do that, you could have put Linda Carter in the middle of this movie and made it like an integral part of the plot.
Or you could have made a funny out of it, like, you look familiar. Like something. It could have been something, like something, some way.
Right. And she could have been like, you look familiar. It's like, I am very familiar. And she could have spoken with some.
Yeah, she could have said, accent. Yeah.
And she's like, I am very familiar.
Yeah, but she could have done something.
She should have called her like some name that only like Hippolyta called her or something, because she would have known her and been like, I'm very familiar with you, little one, or some shit like that.
Something.
And then she'd have been like, Asteria? Something. But
that was one of my issues.
That didn't make any sense.
So what was it? Was something else for you?
The scene. First of all, them two little kids should be dead. Two kids should be dead as shit.
Their parents, number one.
First of all, I was like, y'all ain't here. I mean, these trucks weren't just like slowly rolling. There was like a whole ass battle going on as they were approaching them, and ain't nobody see
these kids out in the middle of the fucking desert, in the middle of the fucking street.
Ain't nobody hear nothing
with the boom and the crash and everything else going on.
Right, and then when she scooped them kids up, I was like, all right, so we're gonna leave it alone. That they should have been crushed.
She scooped that kid up with the outside arm and didn't even grab the kid.
All of them should have been crushed. And then when she dropped when the lasso dropped her ass, and she fell onto those children, and they rolled. Even if she didn't die, the kids should have been dead. They should have got hurt. They should have got up and been like, "Oh, I'm fucked up," or something.
The little black girl was absolutely adorable.
What little black
in the mall in the beginning? Oh yeah, the little black girl. She was absolutely adorable. I enjoyed that.
Another thing. We got 1 minute.
It was so long, and I didn't like the ending.
It was 2.5 hours long.
I did not like the way it ended with the lasso and the rope, and she's sitting there crying. And she's like, "Everyone needs to rebuke," and I was like, I mean, I get it. Your truth, your justice, I all of that. But I was like, girl, that's not.
Quintessential 2 says I had a problem with Wonder Woman flying. I was fine with it. So I love a bitch that flies.
So
and that actually made sense because
she was like, absolutely. She was trying to figure it out.
Sort of internalized. It's one of those the power's always been within you kind of thing, and which is a trope in whatever. So I get all of that.
So I like that.
What did make I was like, it seemed unnecessary to do the lasso because like, bitch, if you're gonna fly, first of all, she was able to fly in the first movie.
She's the daughter of Zeus. So why wouldn't she be able to fly? That makes logical sense. It makes logical sense.
Okay, so I get that, but what didn't? So here's a logical plot point that didn't make sense. Okay, I get that you can turn the jet invisible and all of this bullshit.
But I like the way they did that. I like the way they did that.
But, bitch, do you have the power of everlasting gas too? Because, first of all, and this is a little thing, it's like, remember in the original Die Hard when the plane crashed because it was like, well, we can't land at National Airport. I was like, well, what about Dulles, BWI, or Andrews Air Force Base, or any of the hundreds of airfields that are around the DC metro area? We know enough. That's an actual museum where they keep old planes.
I get that,
but there's
no motherfucking gas in them. Or at least not enough to fly halfway around the fucking world.
Right? They do not keep those planes fully gassed up, sitting in the motherfucking thing.
Whatever.
So they flew from DC, Dulles, to Cairo and back. I don't want a scene of them gassing up planes. But okay, girl.
But wait a minute, baby boy. The last movie, she wasn't flying. Last movie, she was jumping.
She just hovered in the air when she was like, "I've always had the power," whatever. With Ares.
So yeah, but she didn't fly. She kind of.
I get that. That's a quibble.
Yeah,
all right. So we're 2 minutes over. The last thing I want to say is this is why that wish was bullshit. Because on a silly point, there were plenty of dudes who wished for bigger dicks that would have been like, hell no, I'm not renouncing my wish. Hell no.
Well, and Cheetah didn't.
Cheetah didn't renounce her wish at all. They made a point of showing her she never renounced her wish, so she's still Cheetah.
Not Cheetara, Cheetah.
There are, but Cheetara is a separate character.
Cheetara is from Thundercats.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, all right. So there were dudes who wished for big dicks. There were also, this was 1984.
Yeah.
There were people that had AIDS. There were people who had cancer. Yes, some people made stupid wishes or said shit like, I want $1 million or $1 billion. So, I want foolishness. But there were a lot of people who made like life-altering wishes. Like if their mother was dying of breast cancer, they was like, I wish my mother wasn't dying anymore. And you want all them to renounce their wishes? No, girl, that's not how that
plot
happened.
point.
Also,
plot point didn't do it for me.
And then I know I said we were going to go on, but here's the very last prop point that I have. Half of the people, well, two of them. One, talking to people over their TVs is not touching them. That's one. Two, half of the people that heard that message wouldn't have understood what the fuck he was saying because he was speaking English. So like, even if you had heard it sitting in Japan or China or Cambodia or somewhere in Africa or in France or some shit, you wouldn't have understood what the fuck he was saying.
I don't know. Now I'm gonna give Kirsten Wiig
she played it.
She did a great. Like, I was very happy with how she did it.
And when they first showed her the picture of her, like she was supposed to be a little sexy, I was like, I didn't see it, but in the movie,
when she threw that black dress on,
I was like, okay, I can see it. It was just like
that black dress on, and
it's like how it's another one of those things. It was like the power was always within you, because did she really change? It wasn't like she gained a ton of muscle or anything.
She did.
It was just a different concept of yourself. So
she had some cute little pearl shoes on though. That was cute. That was
there was some good things about the movie, but yeah, generally.
So that's all I'm gonna say about Wonder Woman. That's
all right. That's Bridgerton. I was not going to watch this because I don't give a fuck. I don't even give a single.
I'm sorry.
Fuck.
Let me give the high signs up. So freaking nasty, you know.
Right.
But I'm not a period piece person.
Yeah, we are back. We are back.
I'm not a period piece person, so I don't like the queen and the all that. I'm not
right. Quintessential. So Diana not going back to dating because she lost Steve. Girl, bye. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, but Bridgerton. Yeah. So I'm not that. I don't give a fuck about Jane Austen or
now Little Women. Now, Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, I was here for. Like, I like the idea of that because it was fucking shit up.
But all right, but then I was like, okay, they got black people in it, so I'm at least, it is from Shondaland. So I was like, I'm at least watch the first episode because I was like, all right, they got a black queen, which is historically accurate.
Yes.
Okay, God. All right. So I get into that. But and another, white ingenue who is whatever. But I actually loved the show. I mean, the Duke was cute. The darker skinned black guy who was the boxer was very
bitch,
sexy.
We are married. We have 2.3 kids, honey. 2.3 kids, honey. Yes, 2.3.
So I like that. There was also some things. It was like, we have to remember that this was almost 2 centuries ago. That was 1812 or something like that. So It was just after the War of 1812.
Okay.
So it was like 1814. So that was literally 200 years ago. And I was like, girl, you sent your whole daughter out here not even knowing how babies are made?
Listen,
I mean,
I haven't finished it. I literally have gone. I'm only on the starting of episode 4, I think it is.
What's the status of the Duke and Daphne's relationship and where you are?
So they just started falling in love, and they he started looking at her a little bit differently.
Okay,
but I saw some of the pieces later on about the.
So they get married.
Yeah, I know they get married. I saw some, and I'm not really.
I was like, so. Daphne talked several times about going to the country. I was like, y'all ain't never seen like the cows fucking, well, not the cows, but y'all ain't never seen like the pigs fucking or the dogs fucking or the cats fucking. What the fuck did you think that was going on? And ain't nobody in that whole ass house. Like we know the older son's fucking. I think the one that was going to marry the black girl, he was a virgin. I think he is a virgin.
I think he is a virgin. the last thing I saw from her, she was telling the guy off, and she
right. But I'm pretty sure that I thought he was going to be the gay one. He's not the gay one. The one that's probably a little gay
is one. You talking about one of the brothers?
Yeah, one of the brothers.
So I thought the older one was gay, if you ask me.
That's the one that was married to, that was going to try to fuck with the girl.
No, the opera singer. Yeah, I was like,
he's not gay.
But I
thought the youngest brother who actually was going to marry the black girl.
Well, no. So is that the same one that went and sat on the swings with the girl who smoked a cigarette that night? He caught his younger sister outside smoking a cigarette. Because he seems gay too.
No, that's the gay one. He's the one that went to the party with the artist who is gay.
I don't see how
but yeah. So I can't believe that it's 8 of them children, right? But the 3 boys are grown.
Yeah.
And ain't none of them been like, oh, so girl, let me tell you.
3 girls.
So there's 3, right? There's
3 boys, 3 girls. And then another boy.
The 2 grown girls, because Daphne and the younger one, who I think is a lesbian. No, she's not a lesbian.
She just wants to be. She wants to. Well, she wants to be.
And then there's a bunch of young kids.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3.
And the mother Bridgerton, I was like, you look a little too
old.
And when
the son was talking to his mother, and I was like, this is your child.
These are white people. But remember, property passed to the son. So even though she was the widow, he was the head of the household.
Baby,
but in a black family, she'd be like, but I don't give a fuck if you are in charge.
She got his ass together after she did that whole thing about the rumors, and she figured out what was going on, and she had the rumors started.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I am perfectly capable of running this household. I just want you to know. I said, okay, girl.
She's like, girl, I don't
That's all I saw.
Right.
Like
you should watch it. Watch it till the end. It's good.
I'll put it on the.
But yeah, I was like, girl, so she don't know nothing about sex. You just send your whole ass daughter out into the world.
She said, how'd you make a baby? She's like, love.
But right. I was like, all of these. Right. What does that
mean? Like, what is that? I was like,
because when it was first happening, I was like, so this girl really don't know nothing about sex?
I could listen.
Like nothing.
Because
like when he pulled out the first time, I was like,
his father was a motherfucker.
Oh, his father was.
Oh my God. I was like, and when he whispered in his ear, he said, let me tell you something.
I'm never. And then I was like, that's a fucked up ass reason not to have kids, because you wanted to not have. Your father is dead. Your father has been dead. What the fuck you do with your life don't mean nothing.
But he is cute though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
he is real cute. So.
Yeah, Daphne did rape that ass. I was like, oh, so she's gonna sit on top of him so he can't pull out.
I mean, rape is rape, hot. So we're not going.
Right,
we're not going.
And literally when I saw that, I was like, so that is.
She basically just said you raped him, and he was like, no. I was like, oh, I said okay.
Right, but yeah. So now let's get into the bullshit. All right, so how did we get into this point? Listen,
just go ahead, because
I don't even need the script anymore because I got my own points. We knew this has always been heading to this point since Inauguration Day. No, it's been heading to this point since he came down that escalator and got in front of people and called a whole ass country rapists, murderers, and I assume a few of them are good people. We knew it was the bullshit there. When he made fun of a disabled person and people weren't like, wow, that's fucked up. We knew where we was going. When he got on TV, because up until this point, it was just minorities and the disabled. And don't nobody give a shit about the minorities or the disabled. I mean, let's just be clear. Let's just keep it cute.
Let's be clear by this. We're going to talk about that as well.
Right. Then, when he got on motherfucking TV and was heard saying, he just grabbed women. He didn't say he touched women. This bitch literally said, I grabbed them by the pussy. Can you just imagine? Because, he's too dumb to lie. So he's not literally, that wasn't exaggeration.
No.
That means that there are women out there who literally were in his presence where he literally reached between their legs and grabbed their whole ass vagina. And that was not enough for him to be disqualified from being president.
Do you know that there are so many motherfucking women in my life that I know of that would that grad, they would have cold cocked the shit out of him and beat that motherfucking piece of hair into submission?
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And you know, these kids have not been shy about saying this was what they were going to do. So now let's get into what Maida just said. How did they let people in the Capitol? To me, it was intentional. And so here's my thing.
Very intentional.
I mean, would you use tear gas and rubber bullets on your brother or your cousin or your mother? How about your coworkers? Because there is at least one picture of one of the rioters. I'm going to call them rioters and terrorists.
They're terrorists. Let's not call them domestic terrorists. Let's not call them rioters. They're fucking terrorists. Because I don't want you to break the shit down and put them in a different category as anything else, because they call every single African-American person of color in this country a terrorist when they attended, and also the white folks when they attended these Black Lives Matters movements, even down in Charlottesville. Oh, they're terrorists.
Hell,
they're terrorists.
When Joe Biden,
so these good white folks that showed up at the Capitol, they're all terrorists.
Right. When Joe
and
Biden
they had bombs, but that's
was elected, I immediately texted a friend of mine who was Chinese, who went home for Chinese New Year, which I think is like at the end of January or whatever when it was. He went home to see family. He's from China. He's Chinese New Year. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And he got stuck in Donald Trump's "you can't come back into this country" bullshit. I was like, girl, thank God. You know, hopefully January, you know, like February, March timeframe, you'll finally get to come home. You know, they put a whole ass country, not a whole country, a whole religion that is like 1/6 or at least 1/6 of the world population that can't even come to this country anymore because they're Muslim. So they're automatically terrorists because of who they worship. You know, yet these people stormed the Capitol. They found IEDs, improvised explosive devices, the same shit like they used to find, you know, like our soldiers.
Not two. I'm sorry. They found one IED, but then also 2 other bombs. I think that's what it was.
Oh, I didn't hear about the 2 other bombs.
Oh, yeah. It was
but at least the one.
There was total of 3 bombs.
The same shit that, that you see in, in the movies about Iraq and, So this was the shit that was found in the Capitol. There is a picture of some motherfucker sitting at Nancy Pelosi's desk.
That motherfucker right there, I need for them when they find. So listen, Nancy Pelosi, while she may not necessarily be my favorite person, I respect the shit out of Nancy. And you're not going to sit here and disrespect her or what she represents, which is the motherfucking Speaker of the House. You will not disrespect her.
Right.
For me, at this particular point, besides RBG, Nancy is right up there.
Right.
So you just can't fuck with Nancy. That was a blatant disrespect.
I tweeted AOC and Elizabeth Warren and Maxine Waters, not because I expect them to respond to me personally, but I was like, girl, just please let us know that y'all are okay.
Yeah.
In the early hours of this shit, because they were targets. They were like, where's AOC's office? Where's and Maxine Waters is like 82 years old. I mean, she's not. I feel like she could whoop a couple of ass.
Oh, yeah, listen.
But let's just be clear. She
wig off and she be like, come on, bitch, let's go, let's roll.
I mean, she is 82 years old. So
she's gonna do
some damage, but eventually they would have got her. So so there is that. Yeah, so they're rioters and terrorists, not protesters. Someone said on MSNBC today that we are seeing the birth of a permanent homegrown terrorist movement like we saw in Northern Ireland or with the Basque separatists in Spain. Not so much Northern Ireland anymore because they finally got their shit together.
Somewhat.
I mean, they don't have like regular bombings by the Irish Republican Army and shit like that. But the Basque separatists are still a terrorist group within Spain. And I want to, because I don't know enough about it. I'm only repeating what I know. If I knew enough about it, I might not call them Basque separatists.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't even know what that.
I don't even know what that means. So I'm only repeating the line of the party. It's like, other people calling Black Lives Matter. Like you could be over in somewhere else and say Black Lives Matter, people are terrorists because that's what the government says. So I don't know that the Basque separatists, they definitely want that separate state, but to call them terrorists, I'm not ready. It's inappropriate of me as a Black person to call someone who is protesting against their government automatically a terrorist? Because I'm not there and I've not done the research to know. Well,
I just called the white folks
about,
that roll up.
But I'm definitely calling these hoes.
They're all terrorists.
You know, they're all insurrectionists, and everyone who was inside that building needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
I was having this conversation with my roommate. I thoroughly agree with this. Every motherfucker that was on duty as far as the Capitol Police is concerned inside of the motherfucking Capitol, all you bitches would be fired.
Well, you know,
fired.
A lot of them was, you know, the talking points.
Fired.
You know, and this was sort of happening in live time, is that they didn't want to incite or whatever.
But you knew exactly what this man had planned. You also sat there at the rally. You were watching the news when this motherfucker said, go down to the Capitol. Go on down there and make your voices heard. You knew this was coming. You knew it was coming. He even anticipated and said this. Prior Boys to stand down. You knew this shit was coming. Right. He also talked about how he was going to boycott the electoral college vote. You knew it was coming. So why weren't you prepared? And I'm not saying that you needed to be you need to be there with the militia there, but baby, you needed to be prepared. And so for me, what I'm feeling like, even with the Capitol, because they got in the door, some bitches on the inside that was like, you know what, I'm gonna just see what this, I'm gonna just go ahead and ignore.
Right, because
push this camera to the side when I watch this person.
Was it Claire McCaskill, who was a former senator at this point, or because you know I was just listening to MSNBC or whatever, but someone was like, bitch, I can't even bring my family into this bitch without them hoes going through metal detectors and all of this other shit. You know, whereas and so you hoes were able to get in, plan an improvised explosive device, have guns and other shit, and roam the halls. Here's my thing. For like some of the rank and file Capitol Police, well, girl, what the fuck was they supposed to do? You know, even if you had shot even if you, like, there's one picture of a black guy who was a Capitol Police officer.
That was right.
And like someone is
I'm gonna give him credit.
But like a lot of people were in that situation. It was like, well, girl, even if he had tried to arrest that dude, they would have killed him. Right. Off the top.
So the fact that he was going up the steps, he brought them up into that area. I was like, all right. So
I'm if there are actual co-conspirators, yes. But this is not a failure of the Capitol Police officers. This is a failure of the Capitol Police leadership for not planning. Because what was the individual officer supposed to do? Were they supposed to like meet on their own time?
I'll agree with you on that.
Be like,
I'll agree with you on that.
Were they supposed to like meet in the cafeteria? Like, okay, our boss.
But the administration, the upper level administration.
Right, that's what I mean by leadership. They all need to be fired. You know, there needs to be a whole bunch of bullshit.
And that motherfucking security guard, the one that they showed on live MSNBC, coming up the steps, and he had his little baton down, picked it up, and that motherfucker was practicing restraint, but he was also thinking at the same time, because he was like, if I fuck this motherfucker up, I got.
Well, it wasn't because it wasn't a lone dude. There were like 30 people behind him,
and I got it. But it
because
was
because what was he supposed to do?
He wasn't
arrest a dude.
My whole point is
right.
My whole point is I'm gonna give him a pass. I'm gonna give him his accolades. He thought out. He acted smartly. He got upstairs at least when there was more people around him, and he handled that in a smart way.
It was a failure of leadership because there is no way that they could say
apply to be a Capitol Police officer, bitch.
Because there's no way that they couldn't have known. I mean, on the TikToks, I don't follow those particular TikToks, but I see a lot of like liberals responding to those people. They made no secret that they were coming to DC
absolutely
with guns, with ill intent, with malice. To not have plans for that. These people are people who already have shown that they have plenty of guns and whatever, and that they were willing to do this. One of the reporters on MSNBC said, she was like, I can't believe, I mean, you know, she basically wanted to be like, I can't believe these motherfuckers weren't prepared for it. She said, I have talked to these people, and you can just hear it in their voice. She said these people were willing to show their whole face on TV
Yep.
and say into the camera, I am going to Washington, D.C. to break some shit. They were willing to be on camera saying that shit. This wasn't no, oh, I'm wearing this was no wearing a mask. This wasn't my face is covered. Or
good point, Billy.
my back is turned. You know, it's hard to arrest yourself. That's the issue.
Good point.
Exactly.
That's another issue. Because and it's so funny because Joy Reid was I love Joy Reid.
She
Joy
said
Reid
today.
She laid it out. I was like,
she
oh my God.
She let all them white people have it too, because you know, because they
let
were all
them
like,
have it.
You know, they were all like, "Well, weren't you scared?" She was like, "No, I wasn't." And she was talking about Baltimore. She was like, "I was not scared of the protesters at all,
Child,
because they were protesting a man who went into a van and came out dead. I was scared of the police." And they didn't say, all of them, you know, listen, I like Rachel Maddow and all of them well enough.
She went into, she tried, I saw that she was trying to be an objective journalist.
But
I saw that.
As she kept going.
But it was not, it was no longer becoming objective for me. She was not in her journalist side. She was
because Freddie Gray is her cousin, not literally.
Right.
But I'm saying Freddie Gray could have been any of us who had an altercation. You know, he wasn't committing a crime. Let's be clear. Freddie Gray, not that is an excuse to kill someone, but even if you say, all right, well, he was fucking around doing whatever. Freddie Gray was not even committing a crime. He was just minding his own fucking business, hanging out in the city, and the police didn't like the way that he looked at them, so they killed him. You know, Freddie Gray could be his cousin. Yeah. He could be my cousin. He could be my brother. I told my son today, who works in Tyson's Corner, you know, and he would have had to, even though he is on the Silver Line, so he could have literally got on the train and not gotten off of the train until he got out to this house.
Right.
But he would have had to go through DC. And I think about, you know, you're at LaFont Plaza, you're at Metro Center, you know, you would have passed through and had to have interacted with all of those people. And, you know, this girl's already, I mean, I love my son, but, you know, she's a little crazy. You know, she's a little rah-rah. She's a little rah-rah.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little rah-rah in your life.
You know, so, and you know, it's cute to be rah-rah when it's you versus other people.
Yeah, but you also need to know
be rah-rah when you're sitting alone on the train.
You need to know when to fucking back down.
People get on the fucking train.
You need to know when to back down.
And so then, and you know, I don't want nothing to happen, because then I don't want to have to go out into the streets and kill people.
And it's frustrating. It is so frustrating to me. And I watched Joy Reid as she read them, and I every single thing that she said, I felt the pain. I even saw her get a little emotional. Like, and I'm getting emotional now because it's one of those things where you are screaming and yelling at the top of your fucking lungs, and no one is hearing what you're saying because they're also not seeing what you see, and they don't see it that way. And it's like,
so look at you. And here goes my son. He's like, Dad, leave that to me. I was like, listen, girl, listen, this is what a father's job is. I mean, you may not be my biological child, but we have accepted the role of father and son, which means that I will go to the fucking mat for you.
Uncle Epic says, be your rah-rah self, but have some motherfucking common sense, bitch, and call me.
Right. And I called him. I was like, I don't give a wait. I was like, do not come into the city. Go to your sir's house. Just hang out.
Because had you been near me, I'd have been like, well, bring your ass on over. I'll meet you at the metro.
Yeah. Bye. So because it's an unwinnable thing. You against like a bunch of mad, angry white people who would just love an opportunity to kill a black guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, and part of Joy Reid's thing is like the same thing that all black people, I think, just the same thing that black people are saying, Latino people, gays to a certain extent, because, you know, some of the white gays, some of the gays were out in the, and there were some Negroes out there too.
My mind was
there was some Negro with an old fucked up ass edge out there. Literally, it looked like. So imagine you got a little cute little bush, like a little 3/4 half-inch bush, like all around, and then you had your white girlfriend literally go like zzz, 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 and that was it. It wasn't faded. It wasn't nothing. It was like he don't know no black barbers. He don't know nothing.
Listen.
And he was out there on Black Lives Matter Plaza with these white people talking about fuck Black Lives Matter. So girl, fuck him. You know. So
what I also saw when they got inside the Capitol, I saw this one black guy who was coming towards the camera with his phone, and I was sitting there saying to myself, A, he's black, and then I was like, B, I was like, please don't make him the face of the
Listen,
I was like,
that black man has a grandmother who is like, stay calm, but wait till he gets out, but wait till he gets home, but wait till he gets home. When he gets home, what the fuck is your problem?
oh my God,
is going to beat.
Oh my God.
I don't care. That man could be 45 years old. His grandmother is going to mollywop his ass.
Yeah.
And going to, like, first of all, and there's also like a lot of white grandmothers who are going to be like, what the fuck were you doing?
Why the fuck were you out there?
Even if this is the shit that you believe, girl, just, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're on camera. You dumb bitch. You stupid motherfucker. All right, next thing. Part of, to me, what Joy Reid was saying and the frustration that I have is like, you know, even on my timeline, less so, because, you know, I have 2 Facebook pages. So you have the one, which is for Dominion, and, you know, all of my friends, like even the white people I know, like Billy and other people, are like, this is some bullshit, and not surprised at all. But like on my other Facebook page, you know, with my friends from college and my fraternity brothers, all of the white people are like, I can't believe this is not America. I'm like, bitch, this is America.
This is absolutely America.
This is absolutely America. Let me give you a short. Let me give
Childish
you a short
Gambino,
list.
bitch. This is America.
Ask Move. Remember they blew up the fucking Move of the people in Move in Philadelphia?
That was in Philadelphia. Hello,
yeah.
I was there. That was around the corner from my grandma.
Ask Rosewood. Ask the Black Panther movement. Ask the Native Americans who walked the Trail of Tears. Motherfucking ask the people who had the misfortune to just be going about their motherfucking business in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because I will go to the grave saying that they would have never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, dropped a nuclear bomb on Berlin. They would have never dropped a fucking nuclear bomb on Berlin. It was only because those people were Asian and therefore other that they felt completely fine dropping a nuclear bomb on innocent civilians. Yes. I mean, you live in a country, you know, whatever, you lose the war. But most of them people weren't, they were just hoes living their fucking life. But I guarantee you, the idea, the concept of dropping a nuclear bomb on Berlin or somewhere in Austria or in Rome, because, you know, the Italians was part of this shit too, that never fucking occurred to the federal government because they're white. It never fucking occurred to them.
Billy, that is absolutely the statement and also understatement of the motherfucking night, because it absolutely, and it the ramifications of this are going to be everlasting.
Yeah.
And we will never know the depths of how they will go. But I will tell you this: the United States of America that we know, the superpower that we are,
it can't be. It can't be. How the fuck you gonna get on the? How the fuck you gonna? And you as the Secretary of State gonna go to some other country and say you should have democratic elections, and they look at you like, they get the fuck out my face.
And when they showed the pictures of the terrorists climbing up the wall to the cap, that did something to me. Like, yeah. I was just like, that was so fucking jarring. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was just jarring. I was just like, you're climbing up the wall.
Like, one way I would be like, Kamala, you don't need this shit, girl. But, we need Kamala in there, because I feel like Kamala's going to be the one that was like, hang all of these bitches. And Joe Biden's going to be the one that's like, Kamala, girl, we can't hang people. We just can't hang people.
Kamala, unlike Mike Pence, in my opinion, will probably be a little bit more,
and she'll push back
to do what's right. However, Joe is he
gave a great speech today. That was a great speech.
He's also a part of that old school, older white male, where it's not
America. It's the idea of America,
right? And sacred. It's like that's not
who this country is. That's not who
this country is. The reality.
It's never been that from its founding. From the moment that you said that a significant number of the people that live in this country are only 3/5 of a person, It has never been that. This is clear. Successful. This country has been very successful.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean it's been a good country. People are equating those two things.
Yeah.
You know, we were very successful after World War II. It's because the whole rest of the world was fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, all of Europe was destroyed. We destroyed Japan. It's interesting now that Japan is one of the greatest centers of, you know, and whatever.
We owe them how much money? How much do we owe? I mean, not Japan, China. I'm sorry.
But, you know, just because we were the center of, says, how much was that permit? You know, just because we were the center of the post-World War II boom and all of that, people equate success and, you know, everybody moving to the suburbs and, you know, GDP and all of that with being good. We weren't good because immediately after World War II, we started this bullshit, this Cold War with Russia, which led us into Korea, which led us into Vietnam, which led us into, you know, suppression of shit at home, which led us into domestic war on drugs. Just replace drugs with black people and just say what it was, because ain't nobody give a shit about, you know, whatever else. It was a war on black people. That's what it was. We only give a shit about drugs Ronnie. Now because white people are as affected by drugs like meth and other things and crack as it was before. I guarantee you that the entire approach to the war on drugs would have been different if the crack epidemic had hit white suburban and rural America differently.
So obviously, so first of all, we know it never would have because it wasn't necessarily designed or manufactured for them.
You know, in my younger years, I would have pushed back on that, but I've lived long enough and seen too much to be like, well, I mean, because, you know, when I was younger, I used to be like I used to be the bitch who was like, I was sing like the national, like I remember when we was in college, girl, we would sing the national anthem proudly. And we will be, and not just because Whitney Houston sang it, but we will be
like it was like
I was like, yes, girl, bitch, you know, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in there, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. You know, but now I'm just like, you know, so like when you say like the crack epidemic, you know, was it a manufactured crisis? It's like, well, was it? I mean, you know, I don't have enough information to definitively say no, which is a damning indictment of this whole fucking country.
Sadly enough, I also believe that there were several other things, in my opinion. These are my opinions. But there are several other things that I feel I'm good.
You know,
but
I'm a drinker.
How many times have I thrown up in the?
Yes, so maybe you shouldn't. I got some soup upstairs for you.
Sorry, Glen Lantern. There are so many other things that I feel like that are manufactured and or man-made to affect a specific population of people. Mm-hmm. Crack was one of them.
Right.
I do believe that HIV or AIDS is another one that's manufactured for a specific population. And I also believe, yes. And I also believe that this other thing was manufactured and there is a cure for it. However, there is never going to be a cure that's going to be released because they make too much money, and it's cancer. But the problem is cancer is not necessarily affecting the right, well, I'm not gonna say the right people. It's not affecting not one specific group. I think the intentions was for it to affect one specific group, and then
cancer?
Yes. And it went.
Oh, girl, you're starting a
little. I'm going very wide. And I'm feeling very like conspiracy theory.
You had me. But I
still
you
sincerely
lost
believe.
Me just a time. You didn't lose me with HIV, but you lost me with cancer.
But I sincerely believe that it's something that
no, I do believe.
And
well, it's not that I don't believe. I don't necessarily believe that there is a cure for cancer sitting in the shelf. I do believe that there is less emphasis. There's not the full court press being put on the cure for cancer because there is no money to be made in the cure for cancer as there is in the treatment. Think of the multi-billion-dollar cancer treatment industry. If you could literally give a bitch a shot and be like, you will never get lung cancer, you will never get prostate cancer, you will never get breast cancer, or even if they were a bunch of different shots, like if you are predisposed to breast cancer, you get this shot. They would never do that because there's too much money to be made in the breast cancer treatment. So while I don't believe that there is just a cure, like there's not a thing that says breast cancer cure, there's no one working to put something in this box because there's too much money to be made in the treatment of it.
I am agreeing with you 100%, which is what I thought the point I was getting across. The other part of that I was trying to get across was I don't know who specifically that was manufactured for, but what I do feel like it has crossed the boundaries and it's no longer, obviously not affecting one specific group as harshly as it has with HIV and AIDS, as well as the crack epidemic. But I do believe it was targeted for a specific population.
Again, on those, I think
that's
that people turned a blind eye to its efficacy because it was affecting a population of people that they wanted to get rid of.
That is correct.
Maybe I still have a tiny bit of, belief in people that even if they're evil, they weren't evil enough to literally create a virus that targets gay people, but that when they saw, because of whatever it was affecting a particular population, it was like, okay, girl, well this virus is doing their job. So fuck, I don't give a fuck.
So I don't know. But those are just my.
So, which is why, so here's my, to wrap this little rabbit hole that we went into down. The reason that I'm taking this.
We went down. That's okay.
We did.
Yeah.
Down this hole. Yes.
Right.
We did go down this hole.
Right.
With COVID, and people were like, well, girl, I don't know if I'm going to take this vaccine. I'm like, girl, the COVID vaccine affects way too many people.
But so since you brought that up,
I mean, I'm taking it, girl. When it's available, I'm taking it because I feel like we've been backed into a corner as a species.
But here's the thing: African Americans are dying at twice the rate.
I think there's a lot of other reasons. I don't think it has
because of the comorbidities. Yes, but some of those things are specific to or run rampant amongst people of color, specifically African Americans. So I kind of like
but the comorbidities have more to do with lifestyle and given and lifestyles over generations.
That is correct.
Because I think if you compared the same, because there's a lot of poor white people with diabetes and high blood pressure and all those other things. I think if you compare the morbidities, but that's less to do. That's as much to do with access to care as anything.
So we're going further down a rabbit hole because we're going way down a rabbit hole.
All right, so back to this. All right, so I do want to just say, fuck that woman who was shot by law enforcement and died.
So wait a minute.
Fuck her.
Let me back up. I do not want to co-sign on that, only because I don't know who that person is. And that was a human life. That's all I'm going to say about it. What the fuck was she doing out there? That's a whole different thing.
I feel like you're on one or two sides of this issue. You're either.
I don't want to.
So you can only be one of three kinds of people. Either you were a person who was supposed to be in the Capitol building, in which case it would have said it. They would have said a Senate aide or a House staff member was accidentally shot and killed.
Okay.
You were a law enforcement officer, which they would have said.
Okay.
Or you were a terrorist.
So okay.
The reporting says law enforcement shot a woman who later died. They didn't say a staff member was accidentally shot by law enforcement. So assuming this bitch was not supposed to be in. Listen, her death was entirely avoidable, and it was entirely her fault.
So I'm agreeing with you that it was entirely avoidable,
and it was entirely her fault.
It was entirely her fault, but just everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just can't,
I
can't
probably feel like part of me is gonna be like, I shouldn't say that because I feel like
you probably shouldn't, but that's just my opinion.
These 4 years have coarsened me because like 5 years ago I'd have been like, no, girl, she's still a human being,
and I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
But
she's
those
wrong.
People wouldn't give a shit about you and I. Would not have given even a single shit about me or you or Tyra or Trayvon or Quintessential 2 or Billy, because listen, I love Billy, but with the long hair, they're like, a homosexual.
Or they say, somebody get my mom off the street.
Right. So I feel like that respect for our common humanity would not have been reciprocated. So I feel like that has been part of the issue, is that,
and you're right, you're absolutely right,
is that Democrats have been like, well, girl, we're all still humans. Or they've been like, well, girl, we're all still, they at least pretend to this lie, we're all still Americans at the end of the day. Well, these people are like, I don't give a fuck. You're not a white American, or you're not one of the few Negroes that we tolerate.
So if we find out this woman was black, then what? What?
If she was there so as a terrorist, that terrorist supersedes her blackness. I feel
and her stupidity.
Sorry for her family.
I think that's probably
sorry for her.
I think that's probably what I'm more sympathetic to at this particular point. Is it would be possibly her family. But again, at the end of the day, you were fucking there for all.
But the apple don't fall far from the tree, so it's unlikely that if she felt that way, that her family didn't feel the same. So that leads me to my next point. Yeah. Donald Trump is a traitor. He should be impeached because there's no
immediately.
He should be impeached to prevent him from ever trying to run for office again. Because
this was a coup.
This was a coup.
This was insurrection. And guess what? What is that? What is that? Article 24, 25 about
Amendment 25 has to do with fitness for office.
Amendment. So
those are two separate things.
Well,
removing him from office and impeaching him. Removing him from office is under Article 25. He can be impeached for inciting an insurrection and inciting treason.
That part things. Right there.
But by impeaching him and convicting him, and now that we have the majority in the Senate,
that's more than likely going to happen. And we also want to bar him from doing anything future with ever.
Because removing him from office doesn't necessarily bar him. Because let's just be clear. Even after this, if Donald Trump ran in president for 2025, there are several
people,
dozen
or his son,
million people,
because Junior is supposed to be running,
right? But let's just stick with Trump. There are several dozen million people who would vote for Donald Trump if we fast forward it to 2024, even after everything that happened today.
Yeah.
There are several dozen million people who would vote 74 million people voted for Donald Trump. 81 million voted for Joe Biden, but that's not here or there. Being impeached and convicted bars him from ever running from any federal office again.
Which is where we need to have him.
Now, there'd be some dumb motherfucker in some state like Florida who would elect that whole governor. Although most people are like, after they run for president, I feel like there's only been like one or two people who, like in the 1800s, who I was president and then became senator. Most people, it's like, bro, this is the pinnacle of my career.
Like I'm retired.
Right.
Like, bitch, I'm done.
So yeah, it's a wrap. But yeah, so all right. So yeah, fuck that guy. So in addition to other traitors, I wanted these names to go on record. These senators, Josh Hawley from Missouri, these are all Republicans or independents. I will note where none of them are Democrats. All right, so the only independent is Mike Braun from Indiana. So the rest, Josh Hawley from Missouri, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, Ted Cruz from Texas, Kelly Loeffler from Georgia, David Perdue from Georgia, James Lankford from Oklahoma, Steve Daines from Montana, John Kennedy from Louisiana, Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, Cynthia Loomis from Wyoming, Roger Marshall from Kansas, Bill Haggerty from Tennessee, and Tommy Tuberville from Alaska, what is it?
Alabama.
You are all traitors. You should be barred because the Senate can take
that
remove
motherfucker right out. All of them.
You are all traitors.
Nancy can take
they're all senators, so it will be Chuck Schumer.
It'll be Chuck Schumer.
Yes. So
but God, it's 9:30.
I wish Elijah. Well, we'll wrap it up real quick.
Yeah.
So
Elijah,
if Elijah comes in, Elijah would get in that ass so bad, fiercely.
But anyway, listen. This I want to take this time.
I do want to. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to take this time to make sure that everybody is okay. I want to make sure that everyone's good. I know we have a lot of people that are watching that are in the DMV area as well as outside of. I hope that you are fine and safe and you were not affected in any way, shape, or form. So I hope that you are all in a good place. If we didn't say that earlier, I'm saying it now.
Stay your ass in the house.
Stay in the house.
Don't try to be fighting these girls. This is a job for the police.
Right.
And what the fuck was Homeland Security? I just have to say this.
Go ahead.
Every time, remember when our biggest concern was Y2K?
Yeah.
Every time since Y2K that this country has been tested, it has failed. We knew in the months and the years leading up to 9/11 that Bin Laden was a threat and that all this shit was going to happen. We knew it was happening and they did nothing. Hurricane Katrina was not a surprise. We knew how vulnerable New Orleans was. We did nothing. We knew the threat that the pandemic caused, that COVID-19 threat. We had a whole fucking task force. We did nothing. We knew what the threat was behind these terrorists, these domestic terrorists, and we did nothing. Homeland Security is a useless entity. And listen, having worked for Homeland Security for 9 years of my professional career, I always tell people that in the event of an emergency, girl, you were on your fucking own because Homeland Security is not prepared in any way, shape, form, or fashion to protect you in any way. In every national emergency or local emergency, I think that just went out. Y'all hold on a second. Oh, girl, here we go with the battery. All right. Come on.
Can we still hear us?
I don't know. Can y'all still hear us? Yeah, I think they can still hear us. They just can't see us. Y'all just give us one moment. See, this is the one problem. So this phone doesn't have the way this battery is set up. Yeah, there it goes.
We were having some little. We running over. We said we got that extra battery, so we want to make sure that you all can still see us while we're getting it together. But we're on a shoe cam right now, so
I'm trying to get it back on the shoe.
Little patent leather. I was doing a little shoe cam since we was doing a show down low.
Yes. All right. So every time that this country has been tested, Homeland Security has failed. And we just aren't prepared. So I'm telling you now, when the shit go down, when the aliens come,
because that's a whole nother conversation that we didn't even touch on.
When some shit really possibly goes wrong, you are on your own.
Absolutely.
I remember after 9/11, this was before I worked for Homeland Security, but me and my father, who was alive at the time, and my sister, my family lives in Alabama. It was like ain't nothing in Montgomery, Alabama. We were like, she was like, don't even try to call each other. You know what your instructions are. We'll just meet in Montgomery. We all know where the fuck we need to go.
Yeah.
Even if you walked in and take you 6 months to get there, whatever,
just
you know where the fuck you need to go. I'm telling you now, get your own shit together because this is yet another example of how the federal government is not set up to protect you. Because just think, Here's a concern for me. That hoe was sitting at Nancy Pelosi's desk, right? People sort of like dashed and dipped from their office.
Shut up, Cordelia.
Imagine if in Senator blah blah blah's office, right, was a list that said, American spies in Russia.
You mean like kind of like the paperwork that was sitting out when they were making the vote that people were making pictures of and taking pictures and like copying and videotaping?
Because these hoes just left, like they just had to dip. So I'm not mad at them for dipping, but they, you leave shit out on your desk all the time, because you expect the fucking Capitol building is secure. So
I just feel like there's somebody that was just like, all right.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So how do we get here? Donald Trump started with birtherism. We all knew. And this is why I was offended for Barack Obama on his behalf.
I was offended
when
several
Donald Trump was all of this birtherism. It was like, first of all, Hawaii, if you understand how this country works, Barack Obama was born at a weird time.
Yes.
He was born at a time when Hawaii hadn't yet become a state.
That is correct.
But there was some federal legislation or whatever that said anybody that was born in Hawaii
during this time
period is automatically assumed to be an American citizen. So it was a wrap. That should have been it.
Yep.
It was racist on its face that Donald Trump pushed this agenda, and he got on. I remember because I watched the Today Show and shit. I remember watching an interview for like 5 seconds. I was like, Donald Trump was like, because this was in 2011, so yeah. I didn't. Fuck. I don't watch reality TV. So other than you're fired, I didn't know anything about Donald Trump. I knew Trump Tower. I knew that he was tacky and gaudy and had solid gold fixtures, but he was just tacky rich white guy. So whatever. But with like the most serious face, he was like, I have evidence that Barack Obama is not an American citizen. And for like 5 seconds, I was like, well, is that motherfucker not an American citizen? So for like 5 seconds, I entertained that shit because
that is his strong point. His strong point is being able to plant seeds.
Right.
That is it. He has been planting seeds. He has no factual basis for anything. He has enough common sense to be able to make you question everyday, I don't want to say everyday things, but to make you question points of contention.
Right. And here's my thing, because he kept saying, he was like, I had this private investigator who's gone to, that was what made me do it. Because it wasn't just him saying it. He said he had, and I didn't know that he was like a pathological liar at the time. And he was saying, we've got these investigators in Hawaii. They're saying I've got all of this evidence. And then when Barack Obama was forced to produce his birth certificate,
he was going to have to do that any fucking way because that's all part of the shit, part of the process of actually assuming the presidency.
But remember, that was in 2007. He was already vetted back then. Yeah. But we're in 2011 when Donald Trump is bringing up this birtherism shit, and 2010 when they're bringing up this birtherism shit, and he was like, "Yeah, I got all of this fucking proof and this evidence, and got all of these people saying." And I was like, "Well, girl, is it true that Barack Obama has duped?" Listen. I worked in the government long enough to know
it's possible.
That is possible.
It's possible.
It's entirely possible.
It is definitely possible.
Let's put it this way. Is it possible that, the president of the United States is the most powerful office in the world, that they got this Negro to lie about where the fuck he was born and all of this shit, and, the shit went too far, and now we stuck in this shit. So now we got to get all these people to go along with it. And that, the people in the government who were supposed to look at the shit was like, yeah, it looks fine. And didn't do their job or what the fuck they were supposed to do. Or what I call it the Johnny principle.
The Johnny principle?
I'm an architect.
Let's listen. We are at 9:42. I'm just letting y'all know.
Yeah, we
okay.
The Johnny principle, remember when I was in in 2005 when I was in the hotel in Miami as Hurricane Katrina made landfall.
Okay.
So I was like on the railing, and I always had the Johnny principle that makes me nervous about people. It was like, was that the day that Johnny didn't give a shit about his job and didn't weld the railing to the building good enough? And here my ass is leaning on the railing. And, you know, if you do like the historic shit, and it's like in that movie where the guy is saved by the stitch in his pants, like the tailor, like he's falling or something, and the guy grabs onto his pants, and it was like, it's only because the owner had said, don't do that extra stitching, you don't need to do none of that. But the tailor was like, but you're a good customer, so I'm going to do all that, and that's what saved his life. And so I think about it like that. It was like, did some Johnny not do his fucking job when it came to vetting Barack Obama, and he really is not an American citizen? And now we've just gone too far down this rabbit hole, you know, because this Negro who really is not an American has been president for 3 years, you know. And then afterwards, I was like, no one ever asked Donald Trump. It was like, so what about all that evidence that you had? What about where's that investigator that you had?
I think when he even got in the office, I think he said something like, I still have this information or something. And it's like, well, bitch, if you have it, why aren't you not sharing it?
Right, because, you know, let's put it this way. You know, as much as white people hate Negroes, if he had actually been in possession of information that said this Negro was a usurper to the office, girl, you know,
it would have been 15 steps backwards for black people across country.
And it would have been a thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I see. It started with birtherism. Where do we go from here? Here's what I think. Back in the day
when I was young, I didn't.
Exactly.
Okay.
There used to be signs that said no Negroes, Irish, or dogs need apply.
Yep. Or
even before that,
and Spix.
It used to just be Nina. Nina stood for no Irish need apply. And this was in the middle 1800s, like 1840 to 1870 or so. So what happened was the Irish potato famine caused a ton of Irish people to flee to this country. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, the Irish were treated way worse than Negroes.
Absolutely.
But what the Irish did was they learned to integrate into American life. And so it to the point where it went from the police beating up Irish till Irish people were known as police officers. This is what we need to do. This is what Black people needs to do. It's easier said than done. I'm not pretending like it's just some whatever, but I think that we need to, as a collective community, make an effort. Black people should be going into law enforcement. Black people should be going into the government. Black people should be going into positions of power. We need to learn that lesson from the Irish. And while they may not ever see us as white, because I don't even know that we want to be seen as white. But what we want to do is to be fucking left alone. And what we want to do is to be able to have interactions with police that are based on whether we committed a crime or not, and not the color of our skin. And that will happen when there are more Black police officers. I mean, the prison industrial complex is a whole thing. So I'm not pretending like just changing the color of the police department is going to solve all of our issues.
Right. No.
But it's definitely a step. And, you know, history is always an indicator of what we can do. And I don't know that all the Irish people got together and said, oh, yeah, girl, let's all go into law enforcement. But I think influential people in the Irish community was like, if the police are fucking with us, why don't we become police officers?
But I think that's been the move with with Black people over the last two generations of trying to do better and move ahead and assume these roles and in these positions.
But I think it needs to be a thing that people are doing consciously.
But it's not, I was gonna say, but it's not organized, and it's not a collective, consciously organized thing.
Right.
But it's happening slowly, but there are definitely more.
First of all,
because I think there's
pause for a second. Links, fuck you.
Yeah, Links, I'm still waiting for that high school picture. I think that especially for us within the last two generations, and I know for myself, there were several times when I was the only person of color or the first Black person to do something with around white folks, or Black people didn't do that. And I'm like, you did that? And I'm like, well,
right.
yeah,
So your job as a Black person
what?
in any office is to
What
bring
do you mean?
another Negro with you. Instead of, because a lot of people, a lot of Black people are real comfortable being the only Negro in their job. And there are some Black people who get real funky when your new Negro ass shows up and they're no longer the only Negro at the job.
This is true.
I think we need to collectively be just like any other white, like the Irish or the Italian. Listen, the Italians do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, and there's no shade against Italians.
No.
Italians will get in the job and be like, yeah, I need to get my brother, Joey, who wants to do so-and-so. So they always will bring themselves.
But are we going to go back and talk about the Italians, and we'll talk about Genghis Khan and about this African-Americans? Not African-Americans, but Africans and the Moors. We're going to talk about that. How the Italians
we can talk about whatever we want. This is the after show, so talk about whatever you like.
Actually, Black people. But I'm gonna leave it alone.
Right. So that's my prescription is, while we work to change the system, we need to make a systematic effort to become part of the system. I
agree with you.
Right. And we're on the same page. Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
So, that's what history teaches us.
Yeah, I absolutely
agree. Using the Irish as an example, we will only become, our problems with the police will slowly subside as our faces become the norm in the police department. That people like Kamala Harris become what is it?
Bitch, that is not me.
Oh, girl. I thought it was like for real.
That's what, like, bitch, that is not me. He cute though.
He is. I saw that picture and I was like, oh, okay.
Is he cute though?
Right.
Everybody got
not as cute as you.
You got to name a number. I mean,
not as cute as you though.
No, he's not. But I'm just saying he's cute though. But I mean, we could make some cute kids.
So yeah, so I think that was my last point is that we need to. I'm not saying that we haven't integrated into society, but we need to make a collective effort to make inroads into the community with the stated goal of making lives better for ourselves. So you don't just go into policing because, whatever. We need to have a collectivist ideal about why we're doing things.
But some of the ideas that you're talking about are reminiscent of a lot of the movements that have happened over the years.
Yeah.
The Black Panther movement.
Yeah.
I mean, and we just, for whatever reason.
But a lot of times the Black Panther,
even though now that was more self-sufficient.
And some of these other movements were about, breaking the country and breaking the paradigm. I, for whatever reason, am not suggesting breaking the paradigm. I'm saying the paradigm will shift once we put ourselves in power.
Absolutely.
As part of the paradigm.
I am 210% agreeing with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel that we are unfortunately slow to the game.
Well, I think we are, because there's a lot of things against us.
Yes.
And the things that are against us, a lot of it is cultural programming that other people don't have. There's a cohesiveness to a community because they know their origins.
Yeah.
Like people that came from Italy know where they came from in Italy, and they have that pride. They have an identity that was forged prior to coming to this country.
True. And most of us do not.
We do not.
Although
we've forged an identity
in this country.
But I feel like we haven't.
But then it also brings up the question
taken that identity and used it as a collective in the way that groups like Koreans have, and the Irish have, and the Italians have.
But that also brings up the question of, do we continue to stay here, or do we go someplace else?
Listen, a lot of
but I mean, it brings up a valid question.
Where the fuck else is there to go? Because Africa is already full of people.
Again,
it's not like it's a bunch of. It's not like it's a. Well, this is 200 years ago where there's empty land where people don't live.
Absolutely.
So but we gotta make. I'm always a practical person. So making the best of the shit that we got already. It's Liberia, but we ain't all going back to Liberia.
Was it Senegal that was saying that they were welcoming people back? Ghana. I've never been to Ghana, so I can't say anything bad about it.
I've seen beautiful parts of Ghana, but I live in this country. I've always, it's funny when you hear people talk about, there was, another bombing in Syria. Well, girl, just leave. And people be like, and you think that's easy to say when there is an American privilege. And we all have that American privilege.
Absolutely.
That where people are like, well, girl, I grew up in Fallujah. This is my fucking home. Why should I have to leave my fucking home? Yeah. So it's that it's part of it is that for me. And American privilege extends to all Americans, because one of the problems that some Africans have with American black people is that they always want to frame the conversation in terms of the issues that they assume that the issues of American black people are the same issues that black people worldwide are having. And it's not always the same. So when I say American privilege, anybody born in this country has
American privilege, that type of privilege. Yeah.
So I'm glad I got it all off my chest. What do you think? What do you think our next steps are?
I think our next steps are, well, first, the Democrats that are coming into office
need to have a fucking spine.
Need to not fuck it up.
Do you want? And I'm a little hungry. And I'm a little full. Do you want some antipasti?
No, but I want some. No, but what I want to do is take. First of all, let me stop. This is the after hour show. Let me take this girl.
Loosen the belt. Yeah, you go ahead and loosen your belt. Say what you want to say. I'm listening to you. I'm gonna go get the antipasti tray.
This bitch done had a whole diatribe and left me here, and I was having a conversation with her, and now she's walking away. See, that's what I'm talking. See, that's when you get full. That's what happens when you get full. But
we're friends, and these are all our friends.
But anyway, while he's gone, I can talk about him a little bit while he's gone. But no, I ain't gonna do that. But can you hear me back there? Oh, okay. I secretly replaced Dominion's alcohol with some. Oh, never mind. I ain't gonna say it. Okay, never mind. Antipop, but you are full. Oh, what kind of cheese is that?
So it's two kinds of cheese.
So this is mozzarella?
Mozzarella, and then the other hard cheese. I don't know exactly what it is. That's good.
Oh, salami.
Yeah, salami and mortadella and pepperoni.
But okay, so what I was saying was I think that the Democrats need to. I don't want them to fuck it up. You have control of the House, control of the Senate. You have a Democratic president, and as well as the Senate. You have the sitting president and vice president that are Democrats. You have several options, and you have several things that you can do. I'm not saying to do exactly what the Republicans did, but you have a lot of power. Mm-hmm. You can push shit through. You can make shit happen. The fighting that has gone on over the past 4 years. We don't necessarily have to have that struggle because I'm not gonna say we as a people, and I'm going to say it because I'm a Democrat, don't have to fight about that.
Right.
I just hope that we just don't fuck it up. We have this, Democrats to me have this thing of everybody needs to work together as one collective, which is the same shit you were saying, as one collective whole for whatever the goal is as a collective.
Tyra said we got some shark coochie. I mean, it's shark coochie. We got a shark coochie platter.
We done dipped down to 50% of the damn people that was on the show. We appreciate y'all for staying. But is that a mushroom?
There's a mushroom and marinated artichokes.
These are marinated? The mushroom? In what?
I don't know, girl. Remember that spot where I got that bomb? Remember that spot where I got that bomb ass Italian sandwich from? This is the same spot. It was like $11.
But that's a lot of vinegar. I'm dying on the show. Jesus.
I think part of the issue with Democrats is that people who are liberal come together under a lot of different causes. So liberalism includes, Negroes, gays, women, people who are sexual hedonists, and a bunch of other things. Modern conservatism focuses on a couple of issues, hating all of those people and abortion. And those are such singular focuses that they tend to vote as a block, whereas Democrats are like, oh, well, girl, I can't vote for this bill because I'm gay. And so I can't vote for this because it doesn't support the gay agenda. There are much fewer bullet points under the Trump conservative agenda than there are under the liberal agenda.
Yes.
So,
and that's where the division comes, and that's where the breakdown starts, and that's where the infighting over nonsensical bullshit that has.
I wouldn't call it nonsensical bullshit.
Well,
they're legitimate issues, but
they're legitimate issues.
It's the greater good.
Exactly. That's and in comparison to the greater good, they're nonsensical bullshit issues.
Okay.
So
have an olive. You don't fuck with olives,
and they're black too. Oh my god. Mm-mm.
Oh, well, lucky me.
You can have all the olives, but these motherfucking
mushrooms,
they are marinated in like the strongest vinegar ever, and I bet you almost choked on that. But I'm gonna try it again. I'm fuck up, but I don't fuck up the salami here or pepperoni, whatever it is. But anyway, so that's what I hope for, and I do hope that we're able to reset the Supreme Court by pushing through the two other members to the Supreme Court.
I get that, but what's the right number?
That's my own personal thing.
I mean, so
and if they want to also set it, that's something they might be able to try to do.
Yeah, but we already got 9. 9 is already an odd number that's worked for the past X number of years. I know it hasn't always been 9, but so every time somebody don't like the number, like the decisions that coming down from the Supreme Court, we add a few more justices. Will our descendants look back in 200 years and be like, well, girl, why are there 25 justices on the Supreme Court?
I mean,
that seems but I mean, what I feel, and I feel like we touched on this on another few episodes ago, is that we're limited to 9 justices, but we term limit these people.
So that's something.
But it needs to be like a longer term. It can't be like 4 or 6 years, like it's 10 or 15 years or something.
Well, that's also something for senators and congressmen too, about having terms. Mm-hmm. Like that would be something that would be amazing.
Well, they already have terms. Well, no, they do not have.
They do not have They can't. They can be as long as they're elected.
No, they don't have terms.
They don't have term limits. They don't.
Yes.
What I'm saying is they do not. That's Maxine Waters. Let's talk about her.
I mean, she's been in Congress for like
Bitch,
25
we're 50 and kicking 50 in the ass. So, bitch, she's been in there since
half our lives.
Exactly. So I'm like, bitch, come on.
Actually, right. So I feel like it's a 10-year term.
Just 25 years? I thought she's been in there for about 40 years. Oh. I thought Maxine's been in there for like 40 years. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought she's been there longer than that. 25 years is a lot, is a long, a long time.
Alexa, how many years has Maxine Waters been in Congress?
Maxine Waters has served as the U.S. representative from California's 43rd Congressional District for 30 years and 2 days. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you. So she's been in Maxine Waters has been in Congress for 30 years. I love Maxine Waters, but 30 years is too long for any one person to hold an office.
And the term limits.
Thing is, you can't. And this is where my level playing field comes in. The rule can be different because we like Maxine Waters.
No, it can't be. I mean, I appreciate Maxine. But I also think that there needs to be an influx of new ideas,
right?
New current ideas. If we're going to remain this progressive country, we need to stay on trend and the issues that are going on now. When I say now, I mean currently. But I will also say that we also need to have a firm understanding of the history of how we got to these places.
Yeah.
So people need to understand that. And once again, Ed and I were talking about this as well, like having newer, younger senators and congressmen and women coming in and being paired with, like, let's say an older one, and then having to kind of serve as like a mentor for like maybe a year, and then they can do like maybe 2 consecutive term limits.
It's about learning the process of doing it. It's not about actually mentoring them in terms of politics.
So
those are two entirely different things.
There's
a lot of rules and procedures and stuff that go on with being a senator or a congressman.
That's true. But I still think there needs to be term limits on that as well.
I agree. I feel like
however they want to set, it can be discussed.
I feel like your federal legislative career should have a cap on it. 10 years. If the limits, the terms are 6 and 2. So 2 6-year terms is 12 years. So the most time you could spend in Congress in general is 24 years. I mean, that still seems like a long time, but that puts them on the same. You could be a senator for a congressperson. You can get elected for 6 2-year terms. Or that's equal.
Why would you say 6 2-year terms?
Okay, so 3 or 4. So that would be 8 years plus 2 Senate terms, which is 12 years. So that's 20 years. That would make sense. So the maximum that your term could be in the Senate is 20 years.
Wait. Congress terms are 6 years or
2 years.
Congress terms are 2 years. So are you
House
saying
of Representative terms are 2 years?
Right. So what I'm saying is you want them to be able to serve maybe 1 or 2 consecutive terms. And that
2 years is not a long time to get that shit done.
It's not. But what I'm saying is there needs
4 consecutive terms or 4 terms total.
So we're talking about 8 years.
Right.
So okay. So
plus a congressional. I mean,
so why not make them even 12 and 12? If they're
24 years, which just seems like a long ass time.
Well, if it's 2 and 2. I mean, if it's 2, 12 years on one side, 12 years on the other side.
That's what I said initially, but I just feel like 24 years total is a long time.
But then, if that's the case, then why don't we take it down to 6 and 6?
Because that would only allow you to be a senator for 1 term.
But you still spent 6 years.
I feel like 20 years total, it was a good time. So that would give you 2 Senate terms and 4 congressional terms.
So you're just talking about the years in, like you said, the years in federal service is just, you're talking about capping that.
Right.
Okay. I mean, however it's divided up, I still think that, I don't agree with that. I just think you need to have a term, period. Just period. Period.
I think we're on the same page about that, but you know, everything else.
Yeah.
And then for judges, I think you should be a Supreme. I mean,
Supreme Court judges need to alternate.
if everything is 20 years, then your career on the Supreme Court is 20 years too. So when you get nominated, unless you get impeached, because Supreme Court justices can be impeached, you're on that court for 20 years and then you're off. Like, definitely. Oh, you good?
Good. They're gonna tear me out.
Oh. All right, so maybe it's time to wrap it up now. So y'all watch this beautiful bean footage, and we'll be back on the other side.
Oh. Oof. Okay.
This is cute.
Yeah, it was.
It's only like
What's the cheese?
$11.99. I can't remember what kind of cheese it is. Oh, what's going on?
This is Swiss-ish.
Provolone.
That's not provolone.
Mm-hmm. Provolone and mozzarella and provolone cheese.
That's not provolone.
The hard cheese is mozzarella is provolone. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Quintessential. We really appreciate you joining in, and thank you to Lola for joining in. We didn't recognize you when you first stepped into the room.
I saw you, Lola.
It was in the middle of our rant.
But you talk about Baltimore.
And
I had nothing going on.
To Tyra and Venture and Parker and Billy and Cortez and Louboutin and
Louboutin showed up. Freak McNasty, she was in there.
Yeah, and Seder and
Coyote, Lynx.
And a few other people.
Cortez.
Yeah, I said him. So
okay.
Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you all for tuning in. We love you all. Have a good one and good night.
All right. Mwah.